I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I turn an ordinary jar into a vase just using some cane work and some clay embroidery. I'm going to show you some other examples of ones that I've done, but this one I'm going to use as a vase or a large pencil pot. I'm going to tie some ribbon around the top and make a bow just to finish it off. But they're really fun. They are time consuming, but they are worth it. Something nice to do if you're just wanting something, you know, easy to do and not have to think much about it. So you can make these on pretty much anything that's glass. So build your oyster if you have a thing of not throwing jars away like me, because I always think, oh, it might come in handy. I just like them to look a bit more fancy. So let me show you how to. Right, so to make my vase I'm starting out with this very large jar. My daughter got it with some flowers that she got from a job when she finished there, and I thought that would make it into a nice vase. It had got some flowers in it already, but I thought it's too plain for my liking. I want to give it some decoration. So this one I've not got the lid for, but you can use other things like these jam jars. These are a lot smaller. You can get larger ones, so just whatever you can get your hands on. I am decorating some of my jars as well, just so that they look nicer in my studio and don't look as boring. So that's just my thing. But this is destined for having some flowers in, whether if it'll be fake flowers or real ones, that's to be decided, but you can have it either in it. So I've got my glass jar, and then you're going to need some bacon bond or just some translucent clay until my bottle's really banged up. I've had it a long time. And then I've just picked a cane that I'm going to slice up. So what you need to do first is, I've just got my brush here and I'm just dipping it into the bacon bond, and I'm just going to spread it over the jar. And this is just to make sure that the cane sticks to the glass. Nice good coating. Okay. It's going to stand it up, it's going to roll away on me. So I'm just going to take some thinnish slices, because it's going to have quite a few these slices on. You don't want them to be too thick and then make it too bulky or heavy. Now don't worry if they're not full slices, this is just the base layer that I'm doing. Now if you don't want to coat the whole thing, you don't have to. There's different ways of doing it, and I'll show you different ones that I've made. This one I'm just planning on doing a whole background of this cabbage roast to start with. So I know what I'm going to do is just stick them in here. There will be some little gaps that you miss, but those are going to get filled in with other pieces. Now, have you noticed that slice has got a bit straight on the side of it, so that'll get covered up. There. I'm not going to make you watch me do all of it, because that would be very tedious and very annoying. I just wanted you to see how I'm doing it, and that's basically what I'm going to do all the way around. Decide how high up you want it to go, if you're doing it like this, or if you just want to do a patch at a time, or if you just want to do half of it. That's totally up to you. So I'm going to cover the rest of this where I'm wanting it, and I'll be back. Right, so I've got my base of cabbage roses all the way around. So, and I've not pressed them in too hard yet, because I'm going to be using my needle tool in a bit to squish some of the other canes in, but I think it just gives that added texture as well if they're not all completely flat and smooth. If you want them completely flat and smooth, then you can work at it as you're going on. But as you can see, there's these tiny little gaps where I'm just going to fill in with some leaves and some other little pieces, whatever I decide as I'm going along. So I've just reduced down a petal cane, or petal, a leaf even, and I'm just going to take some slices. Let's take that end bit off. I wasn't getting a full slice. So I've just got some really thin slices, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop them at different positions going around the jar. Now again, if you don't get a complete slice, don't worry about it. This is just for fun. Maybe if you're giving something as a gift that you want them to have complete slices, but the different things that you can put on them, it don't really matter. You can always go over some of the slices that have got little bits missing with something else, and nobody will never know. You don't have to tell everybody. Now if you're just making things for your own home, you really don't need to tell anybody because it's your space. So just do a few. I think I'm just going to carry on putting them in pairs. Let's see, as I'm going round. I always say that I've got to work on being random, but whenever I do it, I always end up finding some sort of pattern to what I'm doing. But I do want to try and work on, like I said, being more random. I don't know why I have an issue with it. Just one of my quirks. Now, as you can see here, this has not got the full slice. This little bit on this corner here. Just taking another one and going over it, and nobody will be the wiser. So I'm going to show again. I'm not going to show you me doing the whole thing, but then once I've done these, where you can see where I've got the veins of the leaves, I'm just going to take my needle tool and just push them down in the centre, so it gives it a bit more grip to the carriage roses that's underneath. Plus, it gives it another dimension to the leaf. Don't have to do it, it's just what I'm doing. So I'm going to carry on and do this all the way around the jar, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've just got my leaves put on all the way around, and I've used my needle tool just to press them in. So what I'm going to do now is I want to put some vines on it. Now if you've seen my budget polymer clay video, I'm going to use this. Simply because you can't cane with this because it's too soft. And if you do cane with it, when you slice it, it doesn't come out very well, so hence why I said that you can't really cane with it. But I've got all this to use up, so I'm going to do whatever I can with it, and I'll show you as I go along anyway. So I've already used some of this, but on my other one, I'm just going to take a little snake of it, and I'm just going to roll it out. Now, because they're quite delicate leaves and flowers that you've put on, you want to make nice sort of thin snakes. Let's take some of that out of the shop. This is a time-consuming project, but it's worth it in the end, and it's fun to do if you just want something to take your mind off of everything else. You know, something that's, well, I'm trying to think of the right word, distracting. So I'll say if you're worrying about something else, so you can just work away at this. It's not a big project, right? I rolled that one rather thin, but so got it rolled out like this. Now you want to just take small sections, how long ones it's up to you, but I'm just going to off like this, and then I'm going to taper the end of it, which is going to be the end, and then I'm going to just place it in sort of like curly vines coming away from the leaves. And then I'm just wanting it to look like a wall of roses pretty much. So if you've seen Sleeping Beauty film, the cartoon one, the big wall of thorns and roses is pretty much the look that I'm going for. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do all the way around, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some little sort of just dots of the clay, don't have to all be the same, and I'm just going to roll them up. Zoom in a little bit more, there we go. And then, stop shaking camera, I'm just going to pop my little ball of clay like that. And I'll take my needle tool and just press it down into it and drag it away, and then as you can see it sort of tapers at the end. Just push it into that little leaf shape and do those all along the vines. Again, it's optional, it's totally up to you. If you want to just put the vines, you can just put the vines. If like me you want to put them on, then put them on. It can be in any colour. I'm just doing it in these because I thought I made this cane ages ago for the leaves that I used, and I've not made anything that's sort of autumny looking. I thought it would go quite nice with the cabbage rose cane that I was using. Sometimes you don't always want to make beads, you want to just make something pretty that's finished once you've done all this, and you're not having to bake and well, obviously you've got to bake this, but glaze it all and then string it, and you just want something that's a little bit more instant gratifying, is the word right? And I'm just going to do that all the way, like that, and then just push them into however I want them. So again, I'm going to do this all the way around and I'll come back. Right, I've got the vines finished up and the little leaves on it, and then I got going on doing this bit and forgot I'm supposed to be recording it. All I did with this piece was I took a petal cane and I've just basically done thin slices, and I've just put them all around the top where it joins on, and now I just want to put some other little, so I've got these 3 little ends. There's not a lot left at all, so I'm just going to use these alternatively. So I'm just going to thin this one out a little bit because these 2 I've already squished quite thinly. Could probably go a little bit thinner. I'm just wanting to sort of just fill in that little gap that's in between these larger petal shapes to go with the last little bit of liquid clay that's there. This one I can squish down quite a bit more. I just want nice little thin slices really. And I'm going to brock it off now. So I've even less left. Never mind. Because I were too eager at waking it up. I think they're all done. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a thin slice of each. And then I'll form a pattern. And I think this will be the last bit for this jar. So let's go with, start there. Right, let's put, now I'm trying to use up a bit of liquid clay that's there, but don't want it to come off at all, so with that one. So just put a thin line. So I'm going to do that pattern going all the way around. But if you've got any tiny little bits of liquid clay that are left on that you don't want to see, just take a cotton bud or a pin or something and just wipe away the clay where you don't want it to be. And then you'll be able to clean your jar completely once it's baked, and then you'll never know if it was there before. So I'm going to do that all the way around as my finishing pattern, and I'll be back. Right, so I've got all those put on, going all the way around. I've cleaned it up, and so this is pretty much ready for going in the oven. So I'm going to go bake this, and I'll be back and I'll show you what to glaze your piece with and give you some examples of other ones that I've made. So I'll be right, so my vase is all baked. I've given it a quick coat of Pledge Revive It. That's just to stop the gold leaf that's on the edge of the cane work, the gold leaf, to keep that on. So you can either use this as a vase or a pencil pot or something else. I'm going to put some nice ribbon around the top of it, and I think I might make some fake flowers so that they'll last forever. Now, as well as these, you can also decorate storage jars, and I'm just going to show you a few that I've made. This is one where I've just put sort of like, it looks like patchwork, and it was a cane that I've just sliced up and I've put on, and I've just done a pattern repeat all the way around. Then I've put the leaves and the flowers, and then lastly I put on these leaves, and I've done the top and the bottom ones in opposite direction. And then I can't remember whether if I said earlier on though, but once you've got all your stuff on your vase or jar, whatever you're going to do, I just gently rolled it onto my craft mat just to make sure that they were all sort of melded together. I didn't press too hard because I didn't want to go and distort all the work that I've done, and I didn't want to mess up any of the detail or anything, you know, like the embroidery parts that I've done. So they are time consuming, but they're worth it in the end. So that's that one. That's just a small jar. The lids are plastic, so you can't really put polymer clay and put them on in the oven. I had thought of a way of doing them. I thought of putting a tin foil cover over the plastic, decorating the shape that it is, and then just lifting it off and putting that in the oven. I haven't tested that yet, so that's a trial and everything. So if you don't want to decorate your lid, you don't have to. But this is just one, and then this one is a work in progress. This one I've done it. I made a peacock for the cane, and I just need to make the body of a peacock here, as you can see. I've sort of done it as the tail feathers are all out, and then I've just used a spiral cane just to go around the top and the bottom all the way around. Just need that little bit to finish now. And then this one is just plain and simple. This was a cane that I made ages and ages ago. I was trying to make some sort of, I think it was a plaque cane or something, but it didn't turn out as I expected it to, and I thought I'd best save that cane just in case one day I might want to use it for something, and lo and behold I found this, and I thought it's a good place to use it, because I don't think I'd actually use this cane to make any beads or anything. So that would just cut in slices, and I've just put them in alternating directions going round. So that's that one. And then the last one that I've got to show you is this. I've done it sort of like a garden growing up from the base of the jar. I've not put too much on this one, but again it's just cane work, and this the budget polymer clay that I've done a review on. I've done all the clay embroidery sort of detail on them, and these are just some cane pieces that I've used. So it just makes your storage look a little bit more nice and fancy for if you've got a craft room, or for if you just want them to look pretty anyway. So I hope that's inspired you to have a go at making some of these, and it's a good way to recycle old jars. And I think this one, I'm pretty sure this was one of the you know, the big candle jars that you can get. Ooh, that was rolling away. And somebody's cleaned it out. I'm not right sure how you'd be able to get all the wax out of the bottom, because you can't get your hand in there. But if you know a way, you might be able to do it. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. And if you like the video, if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be appreciated. If you've not subscribed, if you would consider subscribing, that would be appreciated too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!